Hello everyone, Orange here, and welcome to a mini set review of Journey to Ungoro. I'm not gonna go over every single card on its own, but I'm gonna mainly talk about the quests, the new legendary cards, the new kind of feature that's coming out from Journey to Ungoro, and also just go over some of my favorite cards from the set. So let's get right into it. Also, before we start, I just want to mention that since quests are new and we haven't ever seen anything like it in Hearthstone before, I can't say for certain how good a card is gonna be. So this is just like my general impressions from reading the card. I'm gonna be able to make a more estimated decision like how good they are after I actually played with them myself. But yeah, let's get into it already. Every class got their own quest. So let's start with Druid. Druid's quest is called Jungle Giants, and this strikes me as one of the weaker quests in the set. For this to be good, you need to play a lot of 5 power minions, and while they have printed a lot of 5 power minions for low mana cost, this is still like a pretty big, like having to summon 5 attack minions is a lot and will take a lot of time. I think a lot of the strengths in the quest come from like how quickly you can activate them, but Jungle Giants is going to be very, very slow, and the reward is not even that huge. Being able to play your minions for free after you already played 5 big minions, which you have to do to complete the quest, I don't know. I don't see this card being all that good, but I can't wait for people to prove me wrong. The next quest coming up is the Hunter quest, the Marsh Queen. As some of you may know, Hunter is one of my favorite classes, and the Marsh Queen is definitely one of the stronger quests in the set, I think. But I think some people, some pros even, have said that the Marsh Queen is gonna destroy the game, because you can just build a deck with like 29 1-drops and this. Frankly, I've been talking a lot about this card with other pros, and I don't think that the Marsh Queen is that good as people make it out to be. First of all, you have to fill your deck with a lot of 1-drops, something that Hunter has been doing back in the day when like Face Hunter was a really good deck, but it was never like only 1-drops. Also, the quality of 1-drops were way higher back then when Leper Gnome and Abusive Sergeant were still 2-1s. These days, they have given us some good 1-drops, as Jewel Macaw is, for example, a really, really good one. But I just don't think that there are that amount of good 1-drops to justify playing the Marsh Queen. And also people say that like when you complete the quest, you just win the game because... now, the name escapes me, but 8/8 shuffles the Raptors in, just gives you an 8/8 and then like infinite free ones. But like how I imagine it's gonna play out is that like just every second card you draw is a free 2. So you're actually not gonna be able to like flood the board every turn with free 2s, and I can definitely see this deck losing to a lot of archetypes even after completing the quest. But I still think the card is very strong, don't get me wrong, and it might be one of the stronger cards in the set, but I really don't hope so, because also that type of Hunter, like very face-oriented aggressive type, is not really the one I enjoy playing. Third secret, the Mage secret. Third secret, the Mage secret. Cast Expel to then start in your deck and get Time Warp. I come from a Magic the Gathering background where getting extra turns is a very, very scary effect, and something that the people that design Magic are very, very careful about printing. And I think there's a good reason why we haven't seen this kind of effect in Hearthstone before. Time Warp is certainly a really, really busted card. If none of you had the experience of getting to take an extra turn after another one, let me tell you, in every other card game, that is like one of the most busted things you can do. Time Warp is a super powerful effect. That said, I still don't think that Open the Way Gate is that strong, just because actually completing the quest is really hard and relies a lot on these cards like Babbling Boot that adds random spells to your hand or deck, which frankly is not like very consistent. Like if your whole deck is out to do that, that makes for like quite a lot of inconsistent games, or at least that's what I think. There is potentially like some busted combo deck with Time Warp and Arcane Giants, stuff like that. I can't wait to see someone smarter than me figure out how to play with Open the Waygate, but it's not really my type of card. Next one, the Lost Kaladosar. I don't know if I get that right correctly, but it's the Paladin quest. It simply says, cast 6 spells on your minions and you get Galvadon. Cast 6 spells on your minions is indicating they're trying to make the buff Paladin stronger, the one with Blessing of Kings, Blessings of Might, that type of Paladin. And whereas that deck has never been very strong before, just because it's a pretty flawed archetype of putting like all your eggs in one basket and just like try to ride your one minion to victory. The reward you get for this Galvadon is pretty much when you play it, you win the game on next turn. And I'm not even kidding. Like that is gonna be the case most of the time, because when you get to adapt 5 times with Galvadon, you can give it Stealth and Wind Fury. Those are the big 2s, and then you can just buff it with like the +3 attack or +1/+1 as many times as you like, and not even to mention that your deck is filled with all these buff cards. So even if you wouldn't get it to like a 15 power dude with Wind Fury and Stealth, you can just buff it next turn. But you're almost always, and I mean like, we're talking, I haven't run the numbers, but say like even 95, maybe even more % of the time, gonna get Stealth and Wind Fury, because getting to adapt 5 times gives you like such a big likelihood of getting one particular choice at least one time. So yeah, Galvadon is scary. The archetype has not been strong before, but Galvadon might just be enough incentive to build this type of deck. Next one, Priest quest, Awakener Makers, the first quest that was revealed from Un'Goro. Feels like forever ago, honestly. Quest summons 7 Death Rattle minions. This is, and the reward you get, Amara, Warden of Hope, which is just like, people were happy or sad that Reno is leaving. Don't worry, Amara is like Reno on steroids. Amara is such a busted card. But you have to complete the quest to get her, of course. That said, I think that this is probably the strongest quest, my bad, in the entire set. I think that Awakener Makers is a super sweet card. The reward is amazing, and it's not that hard to complete this quest, especially not seeing that they printed some support cards for this quest, like Crystalline Oracle and Tortolan Shellraiser. Both those cards are fit right into Awakener Makers deck, together with the Death Rattles we already have. And you can also play stuff like Ends of the Corruptor, which is not leaving standard. I'm really excited to play the Awakener Makers Priest deck, just like a control style Priest. It sounds really sweet to me, and it's probably gonna be one of the first decks I try out. That said, we have to keep in mind that Sylvanas is sadly rotating to the Hall of Fame, which would be a perfect fit for this deck, and I think Blizzard thought of that too. But hey, I'll take it. Like Amara is good enough for me. And now I have Rogue, the Caverns Below. Play 4 minions with the same name, and you get the Crystal Core. This, as Rogue is one of my 2 favorite classes, I am sad because I don't see the Caverns Below happening. Playing 4 minions with the same name, you can do like some cute Shadow Step stuff, and there's Tistle-T, and there's this new card Mimic Pod, but it's all just so random. I don't see a way to make this card work consistently, which is my problem with it. And also, the reward isn't like Galvadon. Crystal Core doesn't straight out win you the game. It's a good one for sure, but it's even one of the weaker rewards, and probably the quest that is the hardest to complete. I'm pretty sad, but Rogue got the short end of the stick here, and I don't see the Caverns Below happening. But there are a lot of other good Rogue cards, so only because the quest suck doesn't mean that, or well, I don't think it's good. I shouldn't say that it sucks. It doesn't mean that the class is not viable. Maybe you can probably still build good Rogue decks with it, without the quest, I mean. And now we have Shaman, Unite the Murlocs, Summon 10 Murlocs, reward Mega Fin. Also, once again, one of the weaker quests in the set. Murloc Shaman has never really been that good. They didn't really print a lot of things to support this quest either, and Megafin doesn't look that great to me. I really don't have that much more to say about it. I would want to try out other Shaman decks than Unite the Murlocs deck. For example, Elemental Shaman is looking like it's going to be really strong, but Unite the Murlocs is not for me. Warlock. We have Liquori Sacrifice. Quest, discard 6 cards. Reward Nether Portal. This card is interesting. I have a really hard time evaluating it. Nether Portal is a strong reward and is gonna ensure that you never lose a late game pretty much. But discarding 6 cards is pretty huge. They've printed a lot of support cards for this, like the legendary Clutch Mother and also the Liquori Fellhound, to try and make Liquori Sacrifice viable. That said, discarding 6 cards is also all the cards discard random cards. So say if your Liquori Fellhound discards your Doomguard, that is gonna make like super hard to complete this quest. But since they printed so much support, I'm not gonna say that it's not gonna work, but I'm skeptic about it. And then last but definitely not least, we have Fire Plume's Heart. Quest, play 7 Taunt minions, reward Sulfurize. Once again, Taunt Warrior has been one of these archetypes that I've just been trying to push for a pretty long time, and it's never really been that good. That said, even before Now and Gore hits, I was playing like pretty much a Taunt Warrior on ladder with Bloodhoof Brace and Valley Armor Smith, hiding behind normal Armor Smiths. And it worked out pretty well. It really did beat the Pirate Warriors that were out on ladder, and I was kind of excited to play that. Also had like sweet things like Battle Rage that works well with your big health minions, and Fire Plume's Heart looks like it just fits right into that deck. And Sulfurus, I'm so happy to see that Dragonus is not entirely leaving us. I can still live on as Sulfurus is my weapon. And what's so good about Sulfurus is like that you get the effect, and the effect that you're out after. The weapon is really not that relevant, so even if you get like Acidic Swamp Boost or Harrison, not the end of the world, I'm still riding those. Fire Plume's Heart, I think, is really strong, incentivized mid-range warrior, which I love, and I can't wait to try it out.